Let's cross to Texas and catch up with Rita Panahi, Outsiders host and the Rita Panahi Show. Great to talk to you. You're going to end up with hat hair. I'm just going to warn you, you're going to get hat hair. Tell us about the outcome of these midterms
when in Texas.
Today. Absolutely. Tell us about roughly we're talking about the Republicans getting the House of Reps here, but the Senate still being line ball. Tell us how you think it's going to play out.
Yes, the Senate isn't looking as promising as they would have hoped. You're right, it's a bit too early to call it. They've still got hopes of getting the Senate, but I think it's unlikely at this point, looking at the progress of the vote. It hasn't so much been as a red wave as a red ripple. They've done well in some races and really underperformed in others. So there's going to be some examination after tonight about some of the candidates that were selected and whether really they gave themselves the best shot of getting the House and the Senate. There's a few surprises, I've got to say. Kari Lake, for example, in Arizona, there were huge hopes for her. She may still do much better than the current count indicates, but with about 54% of the vote counted, she is trailing badly Katie Hobbs. And I think that's one of the biggest surprises of these midterms. People were seeing her as a future vice presidential candidate, future presidential candidate. And now that talk is already started, Chris. People are saying if she doesn't triumph in this race, and the polls are indicating that's unlikely, perhaps Trump will tap her as his vice president. So the intrigue continues. Yeah,
she's certainly not conceding yet, but it's a fascinating one. Talking about Donald Trump, if he hasn't lived up to expectations through a lot of his chosen candidates, Ron DeSantis has gone the other way. He's impressed everyone and done very well in Florida. So it strengthens his hand, doesn't it, if we're talking about the 2024 Republican nominee?
Oh, absolutely. It was always going to be a two-horse race between DeSantis, if he wants to run, and Trump. So DeSantis's position is significantly improved after this result. Just a astonishing margin, and to win a county like Miami-Dade, this is a deeply blue Democrat area, and he won it. And that's something the Republicans, I think, are very excited about, because it shows that shift in the Latino vote, shows that that demographic is open to voting for Republican, and as long as they've got the right policies. And he is such a strong, principled conservative. He is one who is not afraid of the culture wars, whether it's taking on Disney and fighting against trans activists, whether it's making sure schools were open and his state was open whilst everyone else was locking down. He really did go it alone in so many policy areas, and in just about every area he's been vindicated.
Tell us about the Democrat side finally, because as of today, with the midterms out of the way, there's going to be a lot of focus on Biden, the lamed-up presidency, the nonsense that he might run again. And I reckon in weeks and months from now, people are going to be starting to talk about maybe he should retire and hand over to Kamala Harris. I reckon she'll be leaking on him like a sieve.
Possibly, but I tell you, she's about the only politician amongst the Democrats who's even less popular than he is. Yes. She is really been mediocre as a vice president, has underperformed in every area where she's been tapped to have a focus. Remember, she's the border czar.
Yeah, but which Rita is the very reason she needs him to retire, because it's our only way to the top. Once there's actually a race for the primaries, she won't do anything.
No, last time around she couldn't even win her own state, California. So she is a chronic underperformer. Probably the best decision President Biden made was to select her as his VP, because if it was anybody barely competent, they'd probably be president right now. But you know what? He's going to come out of this saying that, the red wave wasn't as mighty as everyone said, that, he's got far more support than some are claiming. But the House is gone now, so he doesn't have the White House, the Senate, the House, and he can just do as he pleases. He is going to be frustrated in implementing his agenda here on. So for the next 2 years, it's going to be a difficult time for him.
Sure is. Thanks so much for joining us, Rita. Appreciate it.